At some point in your life you might need an estate, so you may as well make it a fast one. The VW Passat R36. They only made this car for a couple of years, and the car's a bit of a monster. It's fast thanks to its 3.6 litre V6 engine, which will give you about 300 brake horsepower, and you also get VW's 4-wheel drive system 4Motion to keep it planted on the road, and a 6-speed DSG gearbox. It'll do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds, which is pretty impressive, and it sounds awesome. The body styling has only been tweaked a little bit. It's been lowered, it has different bumpers, and you get those nice twin tailpipes. The interior changes are a bit more dramatic. It's very nice inside, it has plenty of toys, the seats are especially stylish and very comfortable. Online I found this 2008 R36 in black, 61,000 miles, which is pretty low for its age. This particular car is a Japanese import, and that's not a bad thing because this car won't have been exposed to our salty, wet roads for the last 12 years, so it should be in a better condition than a UK car. The Vauxhall Insignia VXR Sports Tourer. This is a fast, large estate. A 2.8 turbocharged V6 powers this car, giving it 321 brake horsepower and 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. It has 4-wheel drive now, so it's now better at getting the power down. It feels grippy and fairly agile on back roads. I think this VXR is a pretty good looking car, especially in the right colour. It has 19-inch alloys, nice tasteful body kit, rear spoiler, I like the twin tailpipes, and inside it's just as good, really high quality, Recaro seats, there's lots of room, and it's got a massive boot. I could only find one for sale when I was looking, a 2012 VXR Tourer. It's an ex-police car, so it should be well serviced and maintained. 74,000 miles, £10,000. The Subaru Forester STI SG9 version. It's based on the Impreza, and it was built in the factory as a proper STI. It was only available for the Japanese domestic market and only right-hand drive. Now the Forester isn't going to win any beauty contests, but the STI version is still a little bit ugly and boxy, but it's so attractive at the same time. It looks very cool. I really like the bonnet scoop. I think it looks really good. It has a 2.5 turbocharged Boxer Flat 4 that powers this all-wheel drive road car. Well, I say it's a road car, it has a lot of rally pedigree, and you can definitely tell when you're driving it. It's fast and it's fun. These STIs left the factory with 265 brake horsepower, but once in the UK, they're generally running with 300 to 330 brake horsepower after a few gentle mods without damaging the engine or reliability, and that lowers the 0 to 60 time to just over 5 seconds. The interior isn't that inspiring, but it's okay. It scores too many points in other areas for that to really bother you. Looking on the old Tinternet, I found this 2005 STI, 2.5 litres, 300 brake horsepower, 150,000 miles, which is a bit high, but it's got extensive history, and it's only £8,500. Lower mileage cars will cost quite a bit more, so I think a bargain could be had on this one. The Chrysler 300C Hemi. It's about as subtle as a sledgehammer through your back door. We don't get too many American muscle cars in the UK, but we did get this 300C. It's a huge menacing beast. It'll definitely get you noticed. It can look quite gangster, and in certain colour combinations quite presidential as well. Now it shares its platform with the Mercedes S-Class, and under the bonnet is a 5.7 litre V8 Hemi, which has 340 brake horsepower and will do 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds. It's big, it's powerful, but at low speeds the engine shuts down half its cylinders to save you some fuel. It's very well equipped inside, it's comfortable, luxurious, but it also feels a little bit cheap. The boot is also massive. Now a lot of people add the Bentley front grille. It's not something I'd do, but it seems fairly popular. I found this 300C in black, 62,000 miles, which is quite low, 22-inch rims, but it does have the originals. It has the odd scuff here and there, it's not perfect, and that's £6,000. And I found this 2007 model in silver, 57,000 miles, which is very low, full service history. It looks a lot more original, except for the Bentley front grille, £10,000. The Saab 9.3 Turbo X. It's a big shame what happened to Saab. Their brand image was up there with BMW and Mercedes, and the company as a whole reminded me of Alfa Romeo. Anyway, this car is a good looking car. It's easy on the eye. It looks sleek. It has that cool Scandinavian vibe. Now Saab built this to celebrate 30 years of Saab turbos, and because the early ones were generally black, this car was made in only black. And it gets a boost gauge inside, just like the 900 turbos from the past. Now under the bonnet is a 2.8 litre twin scroll turbo V6, which gives you 276 brake horsepower, and it'll do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds thanks to the clever all-wheel drive system and 6-speed manual gearbox. An auto was also available. The interior is typically Scandinavian, minimal, stylish. Only 500 cars came to the UK, so this estate is pretty rare. I'd love to know what kind of car Saab would have today if they were still around, but that's just a dream now. Anyway, I found this Saab Turbo X estate online, 85,000 miles, lots of history, for just £6,000, which I think is quite good. The Ford Focus ST estate. In 2015, Ford facelifted the Focus, and it's the best looking version of this generation of estates, although the other ones weren't bad. It wasn't just a cosmetic upgrade, it had mechanical updates as well. This 6-speed ST has the 2-litre turbocharged engine that has 250 brake horsepower and will do 0 to 60 in 6.4 seconds, and the boost is available from low revs, so there's no waiting around. This ST is better looking than the hatchback, I think. It's classier and it's definitely rarer. Now, like before, you can choose between ST1, 2 and 3 depending on what trim and how many toys you want to play with inside. I love the big Recaros and the flat bottom wheel. The interior is generally very good and a nice place to be. This ST is still relatively modern, and online you can buy this 2015 facelift ST3 model, 100,000 miles, 19-inch alloys, full service history for £10,000. Now that is a good buy if you need a practical, fast, modern estate. The Audi S6 Avant. Engine wise, we're getting pretty serious now. This Audi V10 is pretty quick. It's a proper sleeper. It's not the exact same engine that's in the Lamborghini Gallardo, but it does share the same origins and a lot of the same parts, so it's pretty similar. Now these Audis have a 5.2 litre V10. That'll put out 435 brake horsepower. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. It's no slouch, and it'll do that whilst all the family's in the car and in typical Audi refined luxury. Is buying a 15-year-old 100,000 mile V10 Audi a good idea? Well, on paper, probably not, but you could say that about a few cars on this list. But people like us love cars other people don't understand us. The bottom line is, it's very fast, it sounds like a supercar, it's affordable to buy, and sometimes common sense just has to sit on the sidelines. I found this 2006 S6, 117,000 miles, in silver, bags of history, £8,000, and this 2007 S6 in black, 90,000 miles, £9,000. The Jaguar XF 3-litre Sport Brake S. This Jag is one of the best looking used estates in this budget you can buy. It looks aggressive, modern, menacing, stylish and classy. It's definitely a looker. Now if you're into your chrome, the Jag has a fair bit to offer, but I personally think he looks better de-chromed and having the black pack instead and having no chrome in sight. Under the bonnet is a 3-litre turbo diesel V6 which has 270 brake horsepower and will do 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds. This rear-wheel drive Jag has a smooth 8-speed auto box, but it has pedals behind the wheels if you fancy doing it yourself, and it has a sport mode which will turn things up a little bit if you want to get there just that bit quicker. Now the interior is typically Jag, high quality, luxurious, modern, just like you'd expect, and there's lots of space in the back to load all your gear. I found this 2014 XF in white with a black trim, so no chrome in sight, full service history. It's done 130,000 miles, which is not that high for a car like this, and that's £10,000. The Alfa Romeo 159 Q4 Sport Wagon. We all know this is a beautiful car. That's because its designer, Giugiaro, I think I've pronounced that right, possibly not, designed lots of other things like the DeLorean from Back to the Future, some very cool Seiko watches like the Speedmaster Ripley from the film Aliens, and lots of other things. This Alfa has a 3.2 V6 engine, it has 260 brake horsepower, it'll do 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has Alfa's Q4 4-wheel drive system to help get the power down and to keep it on those bends. Now if you don't fancy the V6, there's always the 159 with the TBI engine. It has a 1.8 litre turbocharged lump, the same engine that's in the Alfa 4C. It has 200 brake horsepower and is a good alternative. Both of these cars have beautiful interiors, it's really quality inside, really nice place to be. Now these cars are both quite rare, but I did find this 2010 TBI Sport Wagon, 92,000 miles in black for £7,000. And I found the 3.2 V6 with just 54,000 miles, which is very low, for just £8,000. The Skoda Octavia Vrs TSI. I'm talking now about the third generation Octavia, which came out in about 2012. Skoda have been part of the VW group for a while now, and they aren't the butt of people's jokes like they were in the past, but there are still some badge snobs around who still make jokes and say things like, "Hey mate, are you a taxi?" or "Why didn't you just buy VW?" But forget about them. This is a good looking, fine car, especially in the VRS trim. It has a 2 litre turbocharged engine with 216 brake horsepower, and that'll do 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds. Inside it's spacious, comfortable, well refined, and for £10,000 you can buy one that feels relatively newish. Like this 2013 Skoda VRS Estate in white, full service history, only 59,000 miles from new, for just under £10,000. That is a good value family car. I think that's enough for one day. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, please subscribe. I'd also be interested to know what estate you would buy for £10,000-ish, even if it's not on the list. I'll see you later.